Right around 50 years of magnificent space research, NASA's Voyager test defied an essential breakdown, jeopardizing its inescapable course. A bunch of outstanding specialists and experts was gathered by NASA to play out a definite structure replacement and set Pilgrim 1 on its course. At present, something odd clearly took place later, the culmination of the structure update that has frightened scientists globally. What shocking revelation did NASA find inside the structure as of late situated away? Measurements might need to this be evidence of extraterrestrials. We should parent out what happened after Adventurer 1 were given a programming update 15 billion miles away in region. Picture the farthest man-made spaceship from Earth, experiencing an error and not utilizing a contemporary playbook for settling the trouble. This changed into unequivocally the circumstance looked through NASA, disturbing them to design exceptional course of action. NASA presented a task posting for software engineers with an express scope of capacities. These programmers must be trained professional in Fortran and get together programming tongues from the 1940s and 1950s that are new to most extreme late graduated class. NASA molded a group of scientists depended with a total refurbish of Traveler 1's structure. The entirety of the estate from its locale 15 billion miles away. Over the heading of half a month, the group drove significant exploration and reproduction, considering the exact changes that have been made to Adventurer 1 in light of the fact that its dispatch inside the 70s. In the wake of finishing the supplant, NASA scientists made an ING discovery, an inconspicuous course of action of insights that the check hadn't sent in years. Something exceptional really occurred after Wayfarer 1 got a programming update 15 billion miles away. Yet to look unequivocally the way that this can happen, we really want to look at a few setting during the 1960s and first-rate recommendation surfaced attempting to drive to encapsulate a grand advertising effort across severe planets, one meandering into the puzzling space names of the external planets situated in the immense area of our sun-powered machine. This impressive endeavor, positively named the Fabulous Visit, respected to dispatch mechanized tests to find Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and even Pluto. What made this course of action, as a matter of fact, earth-shattering, became the irregular course of action of those planets, a unique occasion that could grace the universe inside the past-due 1970s and not rehash for a number 176 years. Taking advantage of this magnificent affiliation, the TN Pilgrim Transport Pioneer 1 and Pilgrim 2 had been triumphantly dispatched in 1977. The point was to apply the gravitational strength of Jupiter as a slingshot, utilizing them on a drawn-out course to the external space names of our planetary gathering. To begin with, the essential objective of the excursion gone into to unravel the secrets of Jupiter and Saturn, yet their startling disclosures constrained the development of their test boundaries. With newfound clear-up, Voyager 2 set out on a vital excursion, meandering in expansion into space to look at Uranus and Neptune in astonishing achievements that stay uncommon through some other drive to this point. Innovative regulator programming favored the Pioneer tests with more noteworthy abilities, outperforming their genuine expected capabilities. Throughout the long term, Pioneer 1 and Traveler 2 set out on a wonderful odyssey, including the examination of each of the major external planets of our planetary foundation, carefully analyzing for 8 of their beguiling moons and unwinding the various frameworks of adornments and attractive fields that those glorious beasts have. In December 1977, Wayfarer 2 wandered into the space rock belt, with Wayfarer 1 following at a quicker speed, surpassing its partner 9 days after the fact. February 1998 denoted a fantastic accomplishment for Traveler 1 since it gave Trailblazer 10, becoming the most extreme far-off human-made object in the tremendous region of space. In 2002, Explorer 1 withdrew from the embedded organization, climbing over the ecliptic plane at a putting disposition of 35 degrees, pushed forward at a wonderful speed of 39,000 miles per hour. Adventurer 2, then again, outlined a desperate course, dropping under the ecliptic plane, progressing ahead at an astounding perspective of 48 degrees and a splendid rhythm of 3,450 miles per hour. Pilgrim 2 cases the report of achieving a larger number of planets than one more production of a man-made test. In the interim, Pilgrim 1 proudly approaches as the most challenging explorer from Earth, wandering in basically the same manner from its component of beginning spot than another traveler. Incredibly, both Adventurer 1 and Traveler 2 closed their examination of the external planets within the underlying 12 long stretches of their momentous assignment. Having satisfied their essential targets through 1989, those brave adventurers stood equipped to set out on some other liquidation exploring spaces beyond the limitations of our planetary gathering. In January 1990, with their sights set on things some distance beyond the Inside Planet Foundation, the Endeavor's task transformed into suitably changed to the Wayfarer Interstellar task. As an outcome, those bold pioneers wandered into conventional regions where no familiar presentation has at any point taken off. Pilgrim 1 isn't any normal transport. It's far an astounding exhibition of the cleverness of NASA's most memorable rate planners. Resisting the steady entry of time, made with astounding precision, this interstellar pioneer brags a top-notch cluster of highlights that have worked with its excursion through the universe for very nearly 50 years. Among its many putting credit is its strong radio impart machine, mindfully planned to work even beyond the heavenly cutoff points of our Inside Planet bunch. At its center lies a colossal 37M increased CAG grain radio receiving wire, filling in as the fundamental course for communicating and getting radio waves, connecting the significant distance between Pilgrim 1 and our home planet through the profound region people group stations. While direct discussion turns into unrealistic, Pilgrim 1 depends upon its dependable virtual tape recorder, DTR, ready to storing around 67 megabits of data for subsequent transmission. To put this achievement places into demeanor, signals from Pioneer 1 starting around 2023, which go through a great 22-hour experience through the profundities of space to arrive at Earth, a moving showing of the limitlessness of the universe. Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, Wayfarer 1 can catch divine marvels, deifying far-off planets, their captivating moons, and space names. Beyond curiosity, those apparent gentle cameras work underneath the direction of an imaging limit table, painstakingly saved inside one of the space apparatus' computerized PC parts. While Voyager 1's computerized camera gadget is predicated on foreordained orders, it's miles essential that more prominent current region tests created from the 1990s onwards have embraced totally self-supporting digicam structures going astray from the practice. Adventurer 1 is predicated on its insightful PC order device, CCS, to facilitate its tasks. A miracle of 70s innovation that controls various space apparatus abilities like order deciphering, shortcoming detection activities, radio wire pointing practices, and space apparatus sequencing exercises. And refreshed model of the CCS, at first utilized all through the 1970s Viking orbiters, it remains as a testament to the dependable power of durable designing. Before we see what just occurred after Pioneer 1 got a programming update, you could need to decide out what's toward the rear of the strength of Wayfarer 1. What accounted for the satisfaction of the Pioneer tests? As you'll rely on Pioneer 1 and Pioneer 2 go this way and that have been ready inside a spectacular exhibit of specific logical contraptions, containing Intel suites and subsystems, which represents the sturdiness of the evaluation. Best a modest bunch of contraptions hold to trademark-ready these daring explorers. One of the getting by means of devices that is useful on both Traveler 1 and Traveler 2 is the low-power charge atom locator. This astounding gadget, furnished with 3 arrangements of atom sensors, examines particles and decides their speed via eagerly exploring gaudy radiation and garbage emanating from the sun-powered planets and interstellar space. This marker gives significant pieces of ability into the venture and lead of these grandiose substances. Meandering also into the spaces of significant solicitation, every Pioneer tests are provided with a huge shaft instrument. This gadget, with its marvelous potential to become mindful of significantly energetic particles starting from the sun and other vast sources, presently serves in critical errand. It gauges the flood of garbage in the defensive air pocket of our sun's effect also to those beginning from interstellar space. These readings go about as urgent markers for specialists, helping them pinpoint the specific moment when Pilgrim 1 vented into the titanic field of interstellar region. Another fundamental gadget that continues to run on both Traveler 1 and Adventurer 2 is the plasma wave subsystem. The utilization of its expanded getting wires, which loosen up at legitimate points to one another, this subsystem continually gauges the electric subject pieces of potential waves experienced during the check methodologies. Most importantly, intentional to manage those idiosyncrasies on the external planets, the gadget has now assumed the capability of unwinding the secrets of plasma wave obvies as they plague interstellar space. Its dynamic commitment in the 2 rockets guarantees a wealth of measurements for analysts to examine and gravitate toward the magnetometer to begin with, entrusted with acquiring information on the attractive fields of the external planets, has now progressed into some other area of clinical request. Its main object is to check the progress spot among the interplanetary and very heavenly media by reviewing the attractive characteristics on the limit where the sun's attractive influence gives a state to the attractive subject of interstellar space. This instrument sheds a light on the complex interaction among these galactic powers. Also celebrated contraptions, Adventurer 1 and Pioneer 2 hold to rely on the Plasma Innovation Instrument for critical realities gaining. This device inexhaustibly look throughout the least strength flotsam and jetsam internal plasma, even as moreover having the capac ability to perceive flotsam and jetsam moving at novel velocities, but to a obliged degree. It could affirm the way from which those flotsam and jetsam start. As the bus sets out on its interstellar adventure, the bits of knowledge outfitted through this gadget end up increasingly more essential. While a couple of instruments have surrendered to the attacks of time or had been intentionally deactivated to store energy, the decided endeavors of the Voyager bunch drive forward. Unimportant units have been forever shut down in 1998, 21 years after the starter dispatch, in a bid to keep assets also. NASA has successfully deactivated radiators on each bus as a piece of their power-saving cycle. The power hotspot for each Pilgrim Create is living in a gathering of 3 radioisotope thermoelectric generators, RTGs. Those amazing contraptions infer their solidarity from the rot of radioactive plutonium-238, adjusting warmth strength into strength. Anyway, as the plutonium-238 keeps to rot, a period will come while it can now not support the apparatus's power necessities, coming about inside the suspension of every clinical activity. While this inescapable power decline is projected to an ascent around 2025, the Pilgrim bunch attempts to build the life expectancy of both region gear till 2027. This date holds wonderful importance as it denotes the 50th commemoration of their essential dispatch. To make certain non-stop communication with Earth, every Wayfarer Investigate is furnished with a couple of motors. These motors, though not intended for drive, play a critical capability in reorienting the bus, guaranteeing that their receiving wires generally feature our home planet. By utilizing communicating short, anyway, right heartbeats or puffs enduring simple milliseconds, these motors delicately modify the distance gear job, empowering critical verbal communication to be kept up with. What exaggerate misfire has grabbed the eye of scientists, and why did NASA choose a product update of late? The notable Pilgrim 1 drive has encountered a progression of upsetting difficulties that compromise its very ways of life. One of the pressing stresses that have arisen is the event of troubled or debased telemetry records. As Traveler 1 explores huge distances, it depends on sending fundamental data again to Earth to safeguard analysts proficient of its advancement. Yet on various events, the telemetry records has shown up in a contorted and confounded structure, leaving analysts wrestling with the overwhelming adventure of disentangling its reel that implies. This characteristic has represented an impressive obstacle in how the space hardware state-of-the-art distinction and the environmental elements it experiences on its interstellar experience. Compounding these requesting circumstances are the signs and side effects of maturing and disintegration which have respected inside Voyager 1's motors. Those fundamental vehicles, liable for reorienting the travel and guaranteeing its radio wire remains highlighted Earth, have all begun to show indications of mileage and glitch. On the grounds that the motors waver, the delicate soundness expected to keep up with consistent discussion with our planet turns out to be progressively uncertain. The danger of losing the ability to get fundamental measurements from Adventurer 1 weights negatively, probably cutting off our association with this motivating courier of investigation.